Did you resend yesterday like we talked about?
What?
Did you resend those invoices?
More hypocrisy exposed. The Dem convention gets underway virtually. China spies and a whole lot more coming up in today's Wade and Carter show. Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you?
I'm
Besides
good. My nose
allergy
just started
ridden.
running. I think I'm allergic to Lysol.
Maybe so. But we got to keep the studio COVID free.
That's how we live.
So we are, and we will. And there we go. Now we're good.
Well, we've used common sense. We wash our hands. We wipe down the board. We spray after each other. There is Lysol just dripping off this microphone. It's common sense. We've been well. I've been more social than anybody but John McNeil, and I'm fine.
Let's do this.
For everything you need, there's Deerland Feed. Reach out to the Deerland family. Get by and see Lacey Deerland Rosenquist. She'll help you with all your farm and ranch needs. Pest elimination, dog skin help, tack, saddle, lariats. They've got it all.
They do have it all.
It's just a fun place to go. Pocket knives, multi-tools, all types of cleaners and preventers. And
I don't know if it's the season because it's hot. The last 2 times I've been in there, somebody's been in there for looking for something to cure the ear mites in their cats.
yeah, I thought cats just, rolled with it.
I thought so too.
I don't know. But it's 73 degrees in Victoria, heading to a high today under mostly sunny skies of 98. Back to 100 tomorrow.
Yeah, where'd that 50 shot of rain go yesterday? Did anybody that saw any rain?
No, I do not.
I
saw none. I saw some clouds early.
Saw a little lightning on the way in, but that was it yesterday.
That was it. This morning it was much brighter. I'm used to it gradually. Sometimes we'll get here and it's broad daylight, and then sometimes we're here and it's dark. These days, like it's light one day and dark the next.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. The days are getting shorter.
Right?
Like sands through the hourglass.
So are the days of our lives.
Oh, man.
Where to start?
Where do you want to start this morning? You want to start with the just idiotic hypocrisy of the whole voting by mail issue and the fact that it took the U.S. Postal Service, which has been hemorrhaging for years, which has not been running efficiently. And don't get me wrong, I'm not sure that the Postal Service can do what it needs to do, charging 55 cents a stamp. Right? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And it's a constitutional commitment to this country.
And by the way, it's a bargain at twice that. I mean, look, if you go...
There's no way it costs 55 cents to get a letter from Miami to Anchorage, Alaska.
Yeah, there's no way. And you can't put enough 55-cent stamps on that plane to cover the fuel to get it there. Not to mention the prepaid pensions of all the employees and the pilots to fly it. But if you had to charge $1.10 to send that letter, those who now that's what the post office is like, the Walmart of mail. See, FedEx, they'll get it there overnight. They're going to charge you $30 to do it because that's what it costs. The Postal Service, they make, they lose money on each item, but they make it up on volume. Because if you had to mail something for $1.10, you might not mail it. Grandma might get an email for Christmas. But here's the problem. When's the last time you bought a greeting card? You buy a greeting card lately?
$8, $9.
Yeah. So what if it cost $1 to mail it? Don't be so pinchy.
Yeah. No, you can't find a $2 greeting card
Those
anymore.
don't exist. The Valentines for the kids at school are 50 cents a piece.
Yeah.
So there's the idea that the Postal Service, yes, I get it that it's prescribed by the Constitution, which, by the way, is why it's subsidized. And it is.
But to go out and protest.
Well, opponents are blaming Trump.
Yeah, well, of course,
They're
because he's
saying
been
that he's trying to disrupt the Postal Service right here before the election so that we can't have mail-in ballots across the country. And you know what? They may be right. They may be right. Maybe the Republicans said, hey, guess what? Right now would be a good time to flip the Postal Service on its ear and then tell people to get out and vote. Might be. I don't know. I can't speak to that. I just agree that the Postal Service is highly inefficient, and it may be a function of money.
Well, it seems the only response anytime to the Postal Service is to throw money at it. I'm not knocking the Postal Service. I know great letter carriers. I think they do a great job.
They find Allen's regular service in business.
I find it interesting, though, that the Postal Carriers Union, Postal Workers Union, endorses Joe Biden for president.
Yeah. Remember when going postal was a thing?
Yeah. But here's some interesting information regarding this coming election. Tell me where the mail by ballot process has broken, because that's the other thing that's interesting. There's been a lot of misinformation that Trump's taken away the mail ballot ability. In fact, there were people on the streets protesting against the removal of mail-in balloting because they're so concerned for their lives and their health that they can't go stand in line, social distancing on election day or early vote in person, but they have the ability to go stand in the street with a bunch of people they've never met before, without masks, without social distancing, and protesting the removal of the mail-in ballot option, which isn't happening, because here's how it goes in Victoria County. You can apply for a ballot by mail up until Friday, October 23rd, 2020. Election day is November 3rd. You are eligible to vote by mail if you're a registered voter who is 65 years of age or older, if you're disabled, if you're expected to be absent from the county during the voting dates, you must provide your out-of-county address, and you're in jail, but you're still eligible to vote, so you're not a felon. That's who can vote by mail in Victoria County, and you have to, your application to do so must be received by the early voting clerk no later than the 9th day before Election Day. And you send those to the early voting clerk here in Victoria County.
So if you're an able-bodied person, you need to vote in public. You need to go vote.
Go early.
Yeah. We've already said the solution to this is simply to extend the early voting period. That's all you have to do. Victorians early vote. We do a good job of it.
You would think.
Astros won 2-1.
Did they good?
Yeah. Do you know this kid? Is it Belaki? No, Belak.
No, I don't.
I don't know how many innings he pitched, but he gave up one hit and one run, and it's the only hit the Rockies got.
Really?
So he pitched well. The Astros played well.
So he gave up a home run?
No, if I'm reading this right, and I'm being sorry for us here, it looks like Story got a hit, and it looks like Blackman probably brought him in.
Yeah, two.
No,
hits.
that can't be right because the kid only gave up one hit. Our pitcher only gave up one hit. So this hit didn't come till one run, one hit. The other hit didn't come till another
later.
hit.
So it must
have been a solo home run.
Iceman is in. Karen Webb, good morning. Robin Moore Knipling, Jeremy Pena, Judge Posey, Patrick Strauss, Chris Jansen, good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
Chris Conrad, Marvin Mickish, good morning. Scott Snow, Matt Boucher, Lisa Poole.
Hello, Matt.
Greg Garcia, Trey Molina, Dave Garza.
Okay, Trey Molina.
Larry Leahy, Yankees sweep the Red Sox. Man, nobody cares.
Astros lost a player yesterday. Gerald McCoy tore his quad tendon out for the year. Defensive player. Wasn't he a Houston Cougar, Gerald McCoy?
I don't know. Isn't Osuna done for the year too?
I don't know.
I thought I heard that. Yeah, I thought I heard that over the weekend. Arthur O'Brien, good morning to you. Survived his surgery. Didn't know you were having surgery, sir.
Yeah, we're glad you're well, OB. Got to be at 5 in the morning to listen to us. Sacramento, California.
Or you're a little unwell. Bobby Leister, 91 YouTubers this morning. It keeps going up. That's good to hear.
Soaked the mics with Lysol. Yes, we did.
Matt Boucher says we are way behind on rain for the year. Yeah, I was thinking about that today.
I thought that said we're way behind for Man of the Year. That's what I thought. That's how good my eyesight is from here.
Scott Tomko checking in. HR Mallory. Iceman says dark and light mornings are called hangovers.
There you go. No way you know that, Iceman.
Nope.
No way.
Joel Gomez, good morning to you. Adam Daughtry checking in. Jennifer Caslow checking in. J Dub. Brad Miner. Patrick Strauss. Jeremy Pena says we don't talk about sports anymore.
No, we do our best not to. Although we still like baseball.
Still love hockey.
And I'm certain that it won't take but about 5 minutes for the NFL to draw me back in.
Philip Barone checking in. Dave Garza. We're going to get to that.
What's our thoughts on what? Right, one of above Dave Garza there.
What are her thoughts on Michelle Obama's speech last night?
You know, she was all right.
Good.
She looked nice. She did. She looked nice. She made the comment that Donald Trump isn't what we need him to be for us now. So just break that down for a second. In Michelle Obama's mind, we as Americans, a free people, need our president to act and look and be a certain way for us, because it's all about how we feel. It's all about how we look at him lovingly, longingly, caring for him, because we're Democrats. It's all about our feelings. And if you don't agree with this, then you are filled in racist, misogynistic, homophobic.
We'll dox you. We'll make your life miserable.
Yeah, because we're tolerant people. And if you don't agree with us that he doesn't make us feel special, then we'll out you on the internet. We'll talk bad about you on Twitter. We'll attack you personally.
We'll tell people to storm your home.
Because that's how we feel. That's how we feel about it.
361-575-9509 if anybody wants to call in and give their opinion. I found it really interesting. Through that whole speech, she never really came out and said Joe Biden is our guy. She never really told you why this country should be voting for Joe Biden. What makes him the guy that's going to get us?
Because Donald Trump's not our guy, I want you to vote for my friend Joe Biden. That's what she said.
Yeah. But there was really no substance into why Joe Biden should be voted for.
Good morning, Carter. What's going on?
We're doing good. How about you?
Talk to us.
Now, that's a good point.
Not to mention that Joe Biden's been in Congress for 43 years and has not yet, as far as I know, hasn't expressed any proactive thing he intends to do when elected or if elected. He hasn't said, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I want to say, after 43 years, man, why haven't you already done it? Why haven't you at least been a champion for it? I've been calling for this for years, and now I've got to be president to get it done. He doesn't have that. Yeah.
Well,
Overhauling it. Is he talking about overhauling the Postal Service? Yeah, no, that's a legit point.
Well, and try to mail a document or send a document through FedEx or UPS. You're looking at $10 easy
More.
or more.
Yeah, 15 to 18 now to send a FedEx letter.
Yeah.
What's interesting is, you'll recall also, Dave, Barack Obama talked openly about moving the embassy in Israel back to Jerusalem. He talked about that. That was one of his goals, one of his plans for the deal. Never did it. Trump went ahead and did it. So the idea that these guys are talking about overhauling the Postal Service, if I'm Donald Trump, I say, oh, I'm not worried about this election. I've got a job to do for the people. I signed on to do it, and I'm going to do it. And the election will happen one way or the other. It's America. It's what we do. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thanks, Dave. We're going to take our first break, but thanks for the call and great points made this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank somebody who does what they say they're going to do. That's Allen's Wrecker Service. Reach out to 578-6300. Allen's will show up, load up, and haul you where you need to be. Whether you have a fender bender, a major accident, or you have an overturned truckload in this region, office out here by the airport, office Refugio, all up and down the Crossroads corridors. If you need Allen's Wrecker Service, reach out to 578-6300.
VCS Rock and Roll Field Services, the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer for all your communication needs, from a phone to intricate communication systems for your business. I finally spit it out. They can handle it all, from simple to complex.
They've got it all, whether you need surveillance or fire suppression or
temperature monitoring when you walk through a building.
Right.
They have that now.
A home link gate. at your ranch. Call it SCT Building Systems, Clayton and Casey Help.
564-8864 is the number to call.
They'll help you design and build your next metal building. They can help you find people to come in and do the final finish out. You'd be amazed how many of these home builders say, oh, you got a shell for me? I can build the walls on the inside, make it a beautiful home. Get your plans together, give it Clayton and Casey. They'll help you modify the plans, do whatever you want.
Help you landscape it when it's all done.
That's exactly right. They've got connections on furnishings as well as far as appliances and things like that. Reach out to them. Chesty Furniture Company, appliances for the rest of us.
116 West Juan Lynn.
Bedding, Tempur-Pedic bedding, all types of accoutrement. If you need a television or refrigerator, washer and dryer, it's an old school furniture store. They've got it. 116 West Juan Lynn, corner of Juan Lynn and Bridge. Bobby Leon and his family have been there for 70 years. The business for 100 in Victoria.
Old school, and they teach and they treat you with old school,
right?
Sensibility and service. It's just an awesome experience.
What is our man Steve Kidder saying about the dish? What is he talking about?
I don't know. There's a few comments up here, so I'm trying to see if we get to what. Greg Garcia says liberals aren't known for their logic. They let their feelings do their talking, like children.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
Adam Sugar, good morning to you. BJ Nelson's checking in.
When I was a kid,
Lisa Poole says she did not and will not watch the DNC.
Even back during the Reagan years, and they said this as a slight. They said this as a negative because the left is who pointed this out. They said that Republicans vote with their wallet and Democrats vote with their heart, which is what on paper makes a guy like Bill Clinton look pretty good because he was a fiscally conservative Democrat. On paper, Bill Clinton was a pretty good president. I mean, he looked like the right combination. The insinuation from the left is that Republicans vote with their wallets and therefore are heartless.
Yeah.
They don't care. There's no compassion. But the reality is,
just turns out that Republicans happen to be the most charitable people in this country.
No doubt. And the role of government does not involve your feelings. Do you really care if Raleigh McCoy cares about you individually and your feelings as long as the roads are smooth and flat? The role of government does not involve you having an uncle in office. The role of government is about self-reliance on your end and the government creating a playing field where your self-reliance gives you an opportunity.
An equal opportunity for everybody.
That's right. And we're not perfect.
Pretty much have that in this country.
There's no place on the planet that's closer.
Unless you watch the news. It's interesting seeing video from the Sturgis motorcycle rally going on. Not knowing anybody's background, just looking at the pictures, I've seen Black Americans, I've seen white Americans, I've seen Asian Americans. I'm assuming they're Americans. At the Sturgis motorcycle rally, I've seen Asian Americans. I've seen Hispanic Americans. I've seen what look like Americans of every ethnicity that you can visibly identify.
They all have Harleys or the love of motorcycles.
And you know what? There's no problems right now.
Right.
They're all getting along.
So why can't we all just be Americans and have that in common and just get along?
Because for the most part, we do.
We do. It's all stirred up by the mainstream media. Yeah.
Christina Wise checking in. Steve Tyler says the DNC convention is bad telethon. Just bring on Jerry Lewis. The phone banks
right
and Twitter are now open. Ain't that the truth?
It's all a matter of attitude, though. You've seen changes in everything. I mean, I've seen a change in the local newspaper. You haven't heard me say a negative thing about our local newspaper since changes were made at the top. Changes that need to be made, changes we called for, changes I called for a long time. Hypocrisies and inconsistencies that I pointed out for several years. And like overnight, became a better product. Got to give credit where credit is due. The McCain's cleaned up their house a little bit, and we have a better product. We can do the exact same thing in this country with the media. ABC, CBS, NBC. It's a terrible
CNBC,
product.
MSNBC.
Terrible product.
And even Fox News is getting to be a little bit that way.
When you have Fox, who, if I was going to watch one of them all the time, and I've said this before, I know what I believe and why I believe it. So I don't need to watch Fox to go, yeah, that's what I would say if I knew what to say. Yeah, you're saying what I was thinking. Yeah. See, I'd probably watch CNN if I was only going to watch one of them. Because it would reinforce to me that although I may not be able to articulate it well, I know I don't agree with that guy. I know that guy's wrong. So I would watch CNN.
Remember when CNN had Pat Buchanan and who was the other guy? And they would sit there on Sunday mornings and argue from
both sides
of a story?
Yeah, and the right always won.
Well, because Pat Buchanan was actually pretty sharp.
Yeah, but I look at it now. The problem I have with Fox is if Donald Trump got off Marine One, dropped trowel, and pooped on the White House lawn, Sean Hannity would say, in other news, President Trump fertilized the front yard today. I mean, they find a way to spin everything he does to where not only is it good for America, it's brilliant. Anybody that tells you constantly what you want to hear is lying to you at least a third of the time. I just don't believe that every time somebody takes an exception with Donald Trump, they're wrong. Just like I don't believe that every time some Democrat tries to tell me that Joe Biden's right for the country, that they're right. It just doesn't work that way. Nobody's wrong all the time or right all the time. And I don't ever hear Fox take exception with the president. They're a propaganda arm of the White House. I agree with them most of the time, but the fact that they never say, whoa, I think the president stumbled here today. He probably should have imposed this sanction a month earlier. They don't ever do that. It's very confusing to me.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's right all the time, not even
us.
HR Mallory's asking, is there a place we sign to get our boats? I don't know who's on it.
Well, because one of the idiotic talking heads on one of the NBCs or one of those well down the channel tree channels that are owned by NBC said that Trump supporters are basically high school educated white dudes with disposable money enough to buy a boat. That's what he lumped Trump supporters. I think he was talking about them in Florida.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. The left is going to put you down because of the way they feel.
Yeah. Because, I mean, listen to that. You've got a high school education. You have enough disposable income to buy a boat. Boats aren't cheap. You're doing pretty good with a high school education. They're not flipping the narrative to point out the positive. They've got to be jealous of you for making something of your life because this idiot on CNBC probably doesn't have enough disposable income to buy a boat.
Did Antifa really show up at Sturgis?
I don't know. I didn't see
that. Would have been dumb. Tell me where that was yesterday where the guy got dragged out of a truck.
Portland, and it was on the weekend. And they pulled a guy out of his truck who was trying to drive down the street in Portland.
Pickup or a big truck?
Pickup truck. Harassed him as he was trying to drive away from the situation, and he crashed into a building. So then they pulled him out, beat him senseless. Somebody kicked him in the head, and he was hospitalized. I've seen reports, but I haven't seen them confirmed by a major news outlet that the driver of the truck who they kicked in the head has died. Here's the interesting thing. These are such law-abiding people. These are such good people involved in this. You know, because there's good people on both sides, right? They know who the guy is that kicked the driver of a pickup truck in the head, and they will protect him. They're quick to dox you and out you because you don't agree with them, but you can commit assault, maybe even up to murder if the reports are true that this gentleman died.
Right.
And they will not come forward and help solve this crime. They're going to hide this guy and protect him because he's one of their thugs.
Well, I just don't. I'm glad we don't have that situation here in this town. I'm glad we don't have to deal with that. But I guess you think about it. The guy in the truck apparently was still thinking about other folks to the point that he allowed himself to be dragged out of the car. I would be going forward, reverse. There'd be bodies flying everywhere.
And he never even, thank you, Matt Boucher, it was called Crossfire, the show on CNN. And he never even raised a hand as they were pushing him, punching him, shoving him to the ground. He didn't fight back at all. He was trying to just, hey, I'm no threat. Let me go.
I don't understand that mob mentality of, and you see it happens a lot of time. You see where, so-and-so spits on somebody. So the people that are with them spit on people. It's like people can be like sheep and they have a expressive issue where, this person slapped somebody, so I'm going to slap them too. It's just kind of dumb.
Sometimes I think we've come so far as a species, and then I see video of what happened in Portland, and I see how far we haven't come, and how animalistic people can behave, and how we're supposed to be the superior animal and species on this planet, and these morons, thugs, act just like complete barbarians and a-holes.
We are still just animals, and that's why we're subject to things like COVID. It's kind of like, hey, dogs get mange, people get COVID. It is what happens. It's reality. It's nature. But the idea that people that have a free will and people that have a choice, the idea that this garbage happens in America, that stuff that we only used to see in Europe and other places, lets you know that this melting pot experiment we're doing, that's what you're going to have. You get people in from all over the world. This is how they're used to expressing themselves. And the next thing you know, they express themselves poorly. I don't know. I don't want the pressure like on the National Guard to, take up arms and start shooting people. But like this garbage that went on in Seattle, dude, I'm going to tell you what. I could have gone right through that town with soldiers. I could have gone in there and said, look, you people have 24 hours to vacate this space. I don't care where you go, but you can't stay here. If we come through here in that big black SWAT truck tomorrow afternoon and you even look at us, we're going to kill you. That's what's going to happen. You have 24 hours to vacate this property that you don't own or you're done.
But that'll be Trump's fault.
Well, so be it. I mean, at least he'd go out with a bang. I think that I'll guarantee you that 90% of the people that are listening to us right now are like, you know what? I've had it, man. I've had it. I'm tired of it.
Where is the law and order? Where is the willingness of leaders in our government anywhere to put an end to what is not peaceful protesting?
It started with Obama back when they killed the 5 police officers in Dallas. And we thought, that's odd that happened in Texas. And then Barack Obama, the chief, the head Shaka Khan, Barack Obama said, well, it is a tragedy, but I can certainly understand their anger. I understand the anger of those folks that shot those cops. Excuse me? You're the president of the United States. Shouldn't you say, I completely support peaceful protest. I support the rule of law. There is no excuse ever for a United States citizen to fire a weapon at a police officer. Period. That's what the president of the United States should say, not a black president, not a white president, not a rich or poor president. The president should say there is no acceptable situation where
violence is the answer.
Where violence is the answer against the men in blue.
Jennifer Caslow says Seattle's still going on. She's a friend who owns an apartment buildings near the CHOP. He was at the police station every day, had to dodge bullets to get there.
Yeah, but it's peaceful. It's all peaceful.
It's all peaceful.
It's probably the people that agree with him that are shooting at him. It's certainly not those peaceful Summer of Love folks over in the CHOP. No wonder their black female police chief resigned. Correct? Yeah. So I'm out of here, dude. I'm done with this.
Who by and large was doing a great job and was absolutely, pardon the pun, handcuffed
No doubt.
when the whole thing went down and was told that she couldn't do anything. I mean, her precinct was overtaken.
And the problem that you have is that the mainstream media doesn't show you the damage, the destruction. It's tens of millions, maybe billions of dollars, buildings, all kinds of graffiti, human waste all over the place. It's just, I just don't think I would have any conscience about it. And the reason that they won't do it is because, well, that's not popular. I mean, they're emotional. They got caught up in the moment. You can't just go in there and kill them. Tell you what, 24 hours, you're out of this area or we're going to shoot you when we come through. That's it. Call me a radical.
Draconian came to mind.
Sam old-fashioned, Sam over the hill. It's all rock and roll to me.
Are you mixing songs now?
I think I'm mixing Billy Joel and Bob Seger. I don't know where I was going.
You just came up with Billy Seeger.
Right.
Bob Joel.
Neither one were big stars. Just take those old records off the shelf. I'll drive through the CHOP by myself. Give me an AR and a bunch of clips. All right. So wait,
Jennifer Caslow says her friend had absolutely no support from anyone, any politician in Washington.
But I'll even go a step further for you, Jennifer, and I think that's tragic. Where's the state of Washington? I mean, we talk about states' rights. The state also has states' responsibility.
You have a governor there that is absolutely weak and acquiesces to.
Well, they have a huge liberal state.
Actually, you don't. You have a huge liberal county in King County, Seattle, that basically controls the voting.
Because the other 12 people in Washington are pretty nice folks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's kind of like, hey, the governor's not going to say anything. Hey, I ain't going to get unelected over this. I'm just going to smoke a little weed and kick back here in Seattle. Weak.
And here's the thing that scares me with this election. The American dream will end if Joe Biden gets elected. We have a Senate and House majority of Democrats, because we will become a socialist nation. The drive that encourages people, or the dream that encourages people, the opportunity, what capitalism provides people to do that no other system can do. It is the greatest equalizer in the world. Despite what all the Dems say and all their socialist BS about equity and equality, because it doesn't exist.
No, there'll be no more Oprah. You will not raise yourself up through education and hard work and become a billionaire.
No.
Look back at
the ruling elite will be the only ones that have any privilege, and everybody else will be squashed down to a common denominator. But more, it just. But here's my even bigger fear. Because these idiots like Antifa and what's going on in Portland and the rioters, if they think that this violence that they're perpetuating on their communities affects change,
it doesn't.
But if Joe Biden somehow wins in November, they're going to think that their violence had a role in that, and they will ratchet it up even further. It won't end come November 4th. It will become even worse. Mm-hmm. And this country will fall further and further into chaos. And then we will see some very, very dark and drastic times in this country.
Do you remember a couple of years ago when being down here in South Texas and being Texans and Americans, we found it odd that Barack Obama said, "You think you built that business? You didn't build that business. You built that business on streets that we paid for. You didn't build that business." You remember that? Yeah. You remember how dumb that sounded? You know, you may have gotten up, Bobby Leon, and followed your father and your grandfather and built Chestnut Furniture.
Oh, but they didn't build it.
You didn't build that business.
And neither did they.
Then other people built that business. The whole point of that is that's Barack Obama mentally laying the groundwork for socialism. We built that business. We should share in your family's growth. We provided. I'm a taxpayer. I provided the infrastructure for you to deliver your furniture on. Therefore, I've got a stake in your business. Barack Obama, folks, so many of you lefty fools, you bought into his garbage. He paved the way for where we're at right now. Everybody gets a living wage. It's guaranteed. Send you $15 an hour just to sit at home. Why not?
And you know what's interesting? I walked into Target. There was a sign in Target. They're hiring. And guess what? $15 an hour. But nobody wants to get off their duff and go work for that $15 an hour. They just want it to be handed to them or deposited electronically in their bank account every 2 weeks or every month.
And here's where the next problem comes in. The right, our beloved Republicans, gave in, maybe even helped promote, along with the left, these $1 trillion supplementary payments and bailouts. Because now, well, what does it matter if we pay them $15 an hour? The money ain't real anyway. That's where everybody's at. Instead of the Republicans saying, guess what, folks? Tough times, tough measures. Yes, I don't want you to evict people. We're going to suspend interest on mortgages, whatever. No, we'll just print an extra couple of $1 trillion and just give it to everybody. Whatever happened to tighten your belt? Whatever happened to, hey, you don't have any savings? Call your aunt. Call your grandparents. The government's role is not to bail you out. Now, I agree this has been a national emergency, although I believe it's 90% concocted in the media. I can't wait to see all the news coverage and the passionate speeches about my dad was fine until he got the flu, and then he died, and that's Donald Trump's fault. My dad got the flu. That's where we're at. Everything's Donald Trump's fault.
Well, there was one yesterday in the Democrat. Well, let's take a break.
Veracruz today, folks. Get in there. Drowning enchiladas, taco salads, fajitas.
Why'd you start with the drowning enchiladas?
What? Drowning enchiladas. Get in there.
Why you having to victimize the enchiladas?
Treading water enchiladas. Get in there. Veracruz today for lunch. 576-6015.
Get it to go.
Pick it up to go.
It's called a Wednesday Eve.
It's phenomenal. It's just so good. If you listen to this show faithfully and you haven't gone to Veracruz, just change the channel because I can't help you. And we don't need an ignorant fan base. If you've never been to Veracruz, go listen to some disc jockey somewhere. Get out of here. Razor IT Solutions, JB Hull and his crew, they'll study your analytics. They'll help you encrypt your data. They'll help you take money over the internet, tie it into your QuickBooks, clean up your Facebook presence, clean up your website, a whole bunch of things that we don't even know how to articulate. If you need help, and
but he does, thankfully.
Right, he does. He can dumb it down. Well, I'll take your thing, you put it in your thingamajig there, and then it's all Pfizer valves and 30 weight. Give me some ball bearings and let's light this candle. Reach out to JBL, Ads and Offer Dealerships.
This is 1926 and adsandoffer.com.
Chevy, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi, all kinds of pre-owned, paint and body shop,
Fleet vehicles,
tons of service.
trucks, all sizes of trucks.
There you go. Go by and see Daryl Smith. Tell him Wade and Carter sent you.
They got it all. Visit AssenHoffer.com.
Perfect. On the Miracle Mile.
On the
It's called
Navarro Motor Mile.
On the Navarro Motor Mile, right down the road from high prices. Stacking them deep, selling them cheap, selling cars like candy bars. Assenhoffer. Assenhoffer. The cars you love to buy. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Out of here. White Trash Services, 550-1826. BJ Nelson, Scott Nelson, the Raw Queen.
They didn't build that business.
They didn't do that. You built that business. You're the ones who generate trash. They wouldn't have anything without you.
See how stupid that sounds?
It's so dumb. 550-1826.
They built a heck of a business, folks.
It's awesome. And it's blowing and going and growing. They
6 counties. Now they're into a 7th.
Rockport, Holiday Beach, Estes Park, Colorado, Vail, Jacksonville, Florida. They've got it all. Just saying. Could need some furniture. High Point, North Carolina. They have a depot there. Take the dumpster over, load it up with recliners, bring it back. White Trash Services, folks. If you're in the county and you need daily, weekly, monthly trash service, call 550-1826.
We kind of blew through the bottom of the hour break, so we probably
We
need to
did.
get this one done so we can rant for and vent for our final. I think I know what's throwing me off this morning. I left
What
my
is it?
coffee on the counter at home this morning.
It could be that you're like 8 pounds lighter when you got rid of all that hair.
Yeah, well,
And you did kind of have you kind of had a grunge thing going too. Like I don't think you were as obsessed with washing that hair because you were just throwing a cap on it.
yeah, maybe.
It's
I'd skip a day.
kind of matted. Little
It wasn't getting to that point where it was going to become.
Rasta.
Yeah, no.
You weren't gonna.
But I would skip a day here and there.
What is there any truth to that? That when the guys do what do you call that? Dreadlocks.
Yeah.
Is there really egg involved in that? I've been told
I
that
have
they
no
use
idea.
egg, and I don't know if that's how you keep it clean.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I know that on certain kids, usually not on grown men, but on certain kids, it looks pretty cool. And I don't know what happened to me somewhere along the way. The last 10 years, I've gotten to where I even told Kyle, I like your hair a little longer. You know, I used to be like, hey, if you cut it short enough.
Yeah.
Something I've observed, and this is a true story, and it's a true story about my friends at Texas A&M. And I mean this honestly. If you cut a man's hair short enough and you put him in a uniform, he's a handsome man. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a matter of respect. I don't know why. And I've even seen a few lumpy and dumpy Aggie Corps kids. That's not what I'm talking about. You find me a military man. I walk through an airport and I find a man in uniform. And it is amazing to me, the percentage of military personnel I see now who are Hispanic. So many are giving to their country. And I walk through and see a man in that digital camo. Of course, he's got his lid off in the house, and they have that hair high and tight. I go, man, that's a good-looking man. They look sharp. And at the same time, I like your hair long too. I'm not saying it's, I don't know whether it's just an aside point, but I walk across airports and tell those people, thank you for your service. Every one of them says, you're welcome.
That's why you always miss your flights.
Yeah, I'm always late, and I'm the most popular guy in Terminal B. I could get elected in Terminal B.
Only Terminal B.
Right, which is not my precinct. No. Sure. What did David Broder say?
Said Dairy Treat is having to close early because they can't get any employees.
He says Dairy Treat closing early crosses a line. You know what I did yesterday?
What?
I took the boys to Industrial for Indoctrination Day.
Yep.
And Industrial is a different deal now. Let me tell you something. We had to go to the gym.
Well, Lisa Poole says Dairy Treat's back to regular hours. So that's
there
good.
you go.
She knows she's there every day.
Yeah. So I walked in, and this is Industrial. This is how Industrial is different than other school districts. In the junior high gym, next to the girls' locker room, okay, there was a homemade sign on the wall. It said, "Sweat dries, blood clots, bones heal. Suck it up, princess." Right outside the girls' locker room at Industrial. And I said, you know what? That's why them country kids lay a whooping on people. You couldn't put that up at VISD, blood clots, but let's just don't let anybody get hurt. Can you imagine a football coach in VISD saying, "We're going to punish them kids from Richardson"? No, they ain't going to say that.
Not anymore.
They ain't going to say it. We're soft. Soft.
Well, because somebody will record that on their phone that they're not supposed to have, and then somebody's parent will get offended by it.
Yeah.
And it'll become all the Twitter rage, and you'll have to be forced to apologize for something that really doesn't need to be apologized for.
Well,
and then when they don't think your apology is sincere enough, you'll be out of a job.
Right. There you have it. Because we live in a politically correct world.
Steve Kidder says you have no flight. You just wander the airports.
Right. I got through security. Tell you what, that whole area, I've been thinking about getting that.
Is there anything stupider than the process of airport security? You're drinking a bottle of water. You have half a bottle left. You can't take it through.
Can't take that.
Got to throw it away because it could be something that's combustible, explosive, deadly. And there's a whole container of them right there in the middle of the airport of dangerous liquids that can't get on the plane. Here's the test to that. You want to bring that on the plane? Take a big drink right now.
Right now.
Right now.
There you go.
And let me see you swallow. All right. You're good. You can take it on the plane with you.
Jeff Fonseca says, "I'm the Gary Moses of Terminal B." Only because Gary Moses chooses to let me have it. He's got A, C, D. He's got the rest. We negotiated that, and he gave me a terminal.
Adam Sugar says the American dream will never end. I
agree.
Really hope so.
It just may not be. It is less.
It may be underground.
Yeah, it'll be less achievable under Joe Biden's regime. And it's just so. At least if he was an exciting speaker or a motivational type leader, he's a vegetable, folks. He's just not there.
Even if he could speak, I don't agree with any of his policies and platforms.
I don't either, except I don't know anything that he's really passionate about. I don't think he's passionate about the Green New Deal. I don't think he's passionate about. I do think I've heard some things out of him that if you want to label Donald Trump a white supremacist, I think you could absolutely label Joe Biden a racist.
Adam Sugar says him as a soccer coach. Blood makes the grass grow.
Kill. That's nice.
Yeah, let's take our final break because we're running out of show.
Yeah. Uncle Mutt's Barbecue today. You won't run out of queue. Get by there and get brisket, ribs, sausage, turkey,
get it till
chicken.
around 11.
Yeah, I think they're not open until about 11. Don't push it. They're open for brunch, but not lunch. We'll get about brunch in a minute. Uncle Mutt's Barbecue. It's just simply the best in town, and they're the most giving folks. The Arterberries are constantly donating, giving back, doing all kinds of things to better the community. Uncle Mutt's today, Uncle Mutt's to go, right there on Navarro, just north of the Motor Mall. Get there. Gray Bar Design, reach out to Cheryl for your next party, event, bar mitzvah, funeral.
Bat mitzvah.
Just doesn't work for chicks.
Quinceanera.
Kinsey, yes. 920-6803. She'll help you make a memorable event. She'll make it something that you'll always be proud of. And she'll do the work so you can just enjoy the party. 920-6803. Went Services, Went Electrical.
For all your electrical needs, if you want a backup generator, give Went a call.
Solar panels with battery backups, folks. It's not just only when the sun shines.
It's for when the sun goes down as well.
That's right. On my side of town.
It's like the sun going down on me. Don't
let it happen.
No.
Under the neon moon. Went. Reach out to Went. USA Concrete Coatings, from a patio to a front porch,
Garage floors,
garage floor, any floor.
any floor.
No, it doesn't matter. It's got oil on it, no problem. Steam it, acidize it, level it up, sand it, frack it, get 400 barrels a day out of your garage. Reach out to USA Concrete Coatings, 578-HOME, HOME.
It's the number to call.
Now, what do you got to do? People are just putting in
Yeah.
something about Jewish people on there. We got it all.
Well, I find it interesting that the mainstream media has absolutely stayed away from the mere coincidence.
Even the Jewish girls want Kinsey's in South Texas.
Yeah.
They want Brother Gary to do a flyby Kinsey.
They don't want a bat mitzvah.
He'll do it.
But am I the only one that finds it completely coincidental
I'm sure.
that
I
on the
agree.
eve of Super Tuesday, all the Democrat nominees just backed out and gave it to Joe Biden?
Yeah, interesting, right?
It makes you wonder what cabinet position
It
Pete
makes you
Buttigieg
wonder,
is going to have.
what
Where-
kind of
where-
heart.
What's Bernie Sanders? What's Bernie Sanders going to be? What role is he going to
The
play?
difference between Bernie and Barry knew when to retire.
Yeah,
What is Bernie Sanders? What heart does Bernie Sanders have for America? How does Bernie Sanders look at his fan base and say, I still believe in my platform. At least Bernie had ideas. They were all terrible, but they were ideas.
communist and socialist, but
But how does Bernie look at one of his young supporters and say, not only did I not get the nomination, not only was I not tabbed to be the vice president, I'm also just not saying a word about any of this. I mean, his fan base has to be distraught. Gotta be. It's like, if you're a young person, idealistic, and you volunteered to work for
how do
Bernie,
you not view Bernie as a sellout?
that's right. He's
now?
a quitter. How's he not a quitter? What else you got on there? The Trump and Biden roast.
Well,
There was some stuff up above. Is it worth? Kelly Frommy pointed out, how do we used to have those spirit ribbons? I mean, it was on. You could say all kinds of stuff on those spirit ribbons.
I bet you didn't have a dress code either.
Actually, we did.
Did you?
I'm also the guy that's like, hey, look, if kids want to wear flip flops to school, if they'll come and learn. I mean, if you think about it, most kids today, they're either barefoot or in flip flops 90% of the time. To make them put on closed-toed shoes to come to school, I mean, I don't care how you get them there as long as they show up,
If your toenails that are painted 10 different colors, assuming you have 10 different toes,
right?
is a distraction to somebody in your classroom, that kid is already distracted.
More so if you have 11 toes.
Yeah. Or 9.
Just paint that one turquoise.
What happened to that one? Why is your pinky toe missing? That would
Right.
get me thinking all day long.
Right. What happened to your pinky?
But seriously, if someone's going to be distracted by somebody's colorful toes because they're wearing flip-flops, they're distracted by something else.
Right?
They're not learning.
Jeff Fonseca says Bernie rushed for 237 yards against Tampa in 94.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
He
Boy, it
was
was hard
pretty
to tackle.
Yeah. He was slippery.
Take that helmet off, and you're just surprised to see it was
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders.
How you doing?
Made you miss.
Psych.
Touchdown.
I was pretty good with the rock today, wasn't I? Bernie Sanders as a running back. Can't catch this.
Oh, now we're prejudiced against toeless people.
Right. Yes. Yes. Little known fact, California
Yep.
has 8 toes. It's no big deal. Took that one kind of personal.
Yeah, we won't forget the voter registration drive Thursday, September 10th.
If you're missing that second toe, the one right next to your big toe, then you got that when you walk and your flip flops, you got that big gap.
Can't wear flip-flops.
She's a gap.
That's why they invented those slides.
She's a gap toe gal. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
So, hey, we don't have a lot of extra time, but we do want to throw this at you before we go. Ash and I were talking this morning as I was driving in. I'm talking about
Well, let's save it for tomorrow.
Well, let me just give you the scene, and then we'll discuss it tomorrow. As I was driving in this morning at 6:20, I passed Chick-fil-A, and there were cars all the way around the building at Chick-fil-A. What did BJ Nelson say? Don't forget.
No, don't forget what the voters say. I'm laughing at Bob Watley's comment. Attention toe jam disorder.
Right. Right. Plan on the ATJD. It's a big deal.
Now, don't forget voter registration drive September 10th. That's a Thursday.
7 to 9 right here in the parking lot. Brother Gary's going to host it. That's how you know it's the right place to be. He's in.
That
What's
gives
funny
you
is-
still about a month before the deadline to register to vote in the upcoming election. So we got plenty of time, but we want to get a lot of people registered to vote.
We're
That day.
letting Brother Gary think that he's being a nice guy for doing like, oh yeah, I'll do it. He hasn't read his contract.
Not at all.
We own him. I mean, it's like I feel like Jerry Jones today. Franchise tag, bam. Get your helmet on and get to the huddle. He's in. We got it. Brother Gary, we're live. 7 to 9, September 10th, right here in the parking lot. BJ Nelson said she's bringing cookies and stuff for everybody.
Yep. We'll have lots of stuff.
Aunt B,
You got the Brother Man and Ralph Salazar next.
the Hall of Famer, and the Brother Man.
We're going to get out of here,
Bye,
folks.
folks. Have a great day. Bye-bye.